Hello, I'm Janet Morana, Executive Director of Priests for Life. Welcome to my program, Just Ask Janet. Well, today is a very, very special day. It's, of course, the feast of Our Lady of the Immaculate Conception. And you know something, I think this is one of those feasts that is so misunderstood in the church because people don't understand the whole theology behind it. In fact, there was a period of time, I was a bad girl back in high school and college and some odd years after that I kind of went away from the church myself, stopped going to mass, and that happens to a lot of people. And I always remember joking around about, oh yeah, the Immaculate Conception, ha, 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 teasing, kidding, oh my goodness. But I think part of it is because we didn't understand what this feast was about. Too often people think the Immaculate Conception on December 8th has to do with her conceiving Jesus, but that's not what's happened. Think about the calendar, right? Christmas is December the 25th. So when did our Blessed Mother say yes to the angel Gabriel to conceive baby Jesus in her womb? When she said her yes, that was March the 25th. And in a lot of places around the world, they celebrate that day as the day of the unborn Jesus, March the 25th. That was the day that the Word incarnate became flesh, on March the 25th, when angel Gabriel appeared to our Blessed Mother. But this plan of God was God's plan. He's God from Alpha to Omega, beginning to end. He plans this all out. We as humans have to say yes, all right? So God selected the Blessed Mother from the beginning of time. And then when her parents conceived Mary was conceived, in Saint Anne. Her parents are Saint Joachim and Anne, but she was conceived without original sin, unlike the rest of us, right? We're conceived with original sin, and through our baptism, when we get that water poured over us, that original sin is taken away from us. But God chose Mary from before time, and so the Immaculate Conception, the feast we celebrate today, is the miraculous event that God chose our Blessed Mother to be free from original sin. Now, she still had to say yes on March the 25th when the angel Gabriel appeared to her, but not having the effects of original sin on her soul probably made it a little bit easier for Our Lady to say yes, that she would step out in faith and say, yes, I will be it done to me according to thy word, was really what she had said. And so today's Immaculate Conception, we celebrate the fact that Mary was conceived with no sin on her soul. And of course, then on March the 25th, she had she said her absolute yes. And that's why, too, brothers and sisters, see, if Mary was conceived in St. Anne on December the 8th, well, we celebrate Mary's birthday September the 8th, 9 months later. So if you put all this together correctly, then it has a lot of meaning to you. So I hope that helped you. I'm sure many of you knew this story anyway, but there are still a lot of people out there that don't know the truth about the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. So it's my prayer today that you will remind those of us still out there that are a little bit confused about theology around this beautiful, beautiful feast. Well, because it is a beautiful Marian feast day, I also thought we'd have a special treat for you. There's a beautiful book, and it was written by one of our associates here at Priests for Life, Anthony DeStefano. He's written about a dozen children's books. They're all amazing. And we have now a special reading of his newest book called Our Lady's Wardrobe. So let's take a look at that right now.
Our Lady's Wardrobe by Anthony DeStefano, illustrated by Juliana Kolesova. Our Lady leads us to the Lord. That's what she's always done. She gave us Jesus Christ the King, God's one and only Son. But when Our Lady lived on earth, humble, meek, and poor, all her clothes could fit inside a tiny little drawer. So visiting her cousin's house, the handmaid of the Lord could only wear a handmade dress tied with a simple cord. But now in heaven, Mary has a mansion by the sea, with a wardrobe filled with clothes of great variety. And when she sometimes visits us, she picks her clothes with care. According to her travel plans, she chooses what to wear. On Mount Carmel, she held her son, all dressed in tan and brown. She clasped a tiny scapular and wore a golden crown. She formed a great community that still exists today of holy monks and holy nuns who serve the poor and pray. In Guadalupe, Mexico, her dress was tinted red. A turquoise veil with yellow stars flowed down from Mary's head. She put some roses in a cloak, arranged them lovingly, and left her sacred image there magnificent to see. In Paris, standing on a globe and clad in blue and white, her hands stretched out and from her rings came dazzling rays of light. She asked to have a medal made and worn by everyone. Then miracles of every kind were granted by her son. In Ireland, Our Lady dressed in shades of white and green to show that she would always be the Emerald Isle's queen. She stood in silence in the night and uttered not a word. The howling wind and falling rain were all that could be heard. She wore for little Bernadette, a French girl pure and sweet, a frilly veil, a long blue sash, and roses on her feet. She came from out a grotto, and the little French girl kneeled. Then Mary made a fountain spring where all the sick were healed. In Fatima, Our Lady stood upon a holly tree. She dressed in white like crystal light and held a rosary. She then performed a miracle well known in history. The sun came down and spun around and danced for all to see. No matter what Our Lady does and where Our Lady goes, she always takes the time to wear the most amazing clothes. Her clothes are proof that heaven is a truly wondrous place, a land of beauty, life and love, and joy and truth and grace. The Queen of Angels smiles now from heaven up above. Her face is so delightful and her heart so full of love. She stands there shining like the sun in robes of blue and red. A crown of 12 bright sparkling stars she wears upon her head. O Mary, Queen Immaculate, please help us love your Son. Please help us trust and serve him till our life on earth is done.
To purchase your copy of the book Our Lady's Wardrobe by Anthony DeStefano, log on to our web store, ewtnrc.com, and type in item number 6261, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or call 1-800-854-6316.
I really hope you enjoyed that story, and you probably might like a copy of this book. I know I've given it to my grandchildren. I have 4 of them, and they love the book. And I'm sure you saw in Anthony's reading the beautiful illustrations inside. So if you'd like a copy of Our Lady's Wardrobe, you can go to our online store, which is prolifeproducts.org. And there you can find in the section on the children's books, or click on Anthony DeStefano, you'll see all his children's books. But in particular, Our Lady's Wardrobe is a beautiful, beautiful book, especially for girls. I think girls are really, because the idea of our Blessed Mother having a wardrobe, it kind of, I think, would intrigue young girls. And what's nice about this book is it highlights, like today is the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, but it highlights a lot of these other feasts when Our Lady appeared, Our Lady of Lourdes, and of course, Our Lady of Guadalupe, and so on. So again, Our Lady's Wardrobe available to you at our online store, prolifeproducts.org. Well, I've got to go now because I've got to get off to Mass because it is the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. It's still a holy day of obligation. So this is Janet Morana signing off for Just Ask Janet. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, God bless.